All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Ola Ray, and this is the Break It Down Show.
You know what? Ola Ray, here's what I will say about Ola Ray. We all know her in the world from the movies that she's been in, and especially from the Thriller video. You were in the greatest music video that has ever been made, and you were such a central part of it. You were the emotional center of that thing. You were what made everybody scared. You were what it made everybody, take that journey. But the video it's the greatest video ever made, and it was so much that nobody ever tried to top it. It was like, well, that's it. That's about as good as it gets. Is that was that your experience with how that video came out, and what was the impact of it on your personal life and career?
Okay, so for me, being the face of Thriller was very, very scary. I'm going to give you the long version of it.
Please.
Yeah, I had people come into my house, knocking on my doors, saying that they're coming in from all around the world, and they wanted to know if I had lived at the apartment I was in. So, I had to, they would knock on the door and say, "Hi, we're here to see Ola. Does she live here?" And I would say, "No, she doesn't live here." And so I had to go through that a lot, and then I hadn't received a residual until 2 years after Thriller. So for me, it was really hard to navigate and to move around, freely and to try to, protect myself. And then after that, I was told um, that in order for me to get more residuals, that would have to go to court. So I go to court, and then they tell me I can't get the past 5 years residuals because of the statute of limitation. So now I'm like, after so many years, I find myself homeless in a hotel. Then I received a call from the Screen Actors Guild telling me, "Okay, we have a check for you." So I go down and I get that, and only then was I able to secure myself, and to an apartment, that helped me navigate the situation. And then to this day, I haven't received a residual in over 14 years. But so for me, being the face of Thriller was so scary because I had to maneuver my life. I had to do so many things that I was not prepared for. But it's only the grace of God that I got through everything.
This is amazing because you know what? It's easy for us to see the glamour of it all and to appreciate, the part that you played, and to sort of mythologize your participation in this thing. And then there's a financial side, and the financial side was not bright, and you had a tough time.
Yeah.
Did you establish any relationship with, either Michael Jackson or John Landis from having, done this video? Did you continue to stay in touch with either one of them?
Well, yeah, I stayed in touch with Michael for a short time afterwards. Um, and once he realized that I wasn't getting my residuals, he sent me some documents showing that, where he did pay. So then it became a situation where, okay, I'm receiving it, but now it's these other entities that did not give it to me. So yeah, that's how it kind of went from there. I didn't really stay in touch with John Landis all that much. Um, but yeah.
So your career, though, let's rewind. I want to go all the way back to when I first found out who Ola Ray was, because my dad subscribed to Playboy magazine, and as a young man, I knew where he kept them. So I would look at them. It was not appropriate at my age for me to be looking at them quite yet. But I didn't ask his permission. I just found them. Um, Playboy very famously was very rare for them to have an African American Playboy playmate. And you were the Playboy playmate in June of 1980. And I grew up around a lot of black folks. So when I got excited to see that, I mean, by the time I saw it, it was a back issue. But when I saw it,
Mhm.
I was like, oh my goodness, this is terrific. So I was excited about that. And then, of course, when, the Thriller video came out, I already knew who you were, but I was very careful about who I would tell why I knew who you were. Um, what was it like being a Playboy playmate in 1980?
For me, I had so much fun. I started my career in Japan, and so
Okay.
I was doing a lot of high fashion modeling over there at the age of 15. And so, um, when it was time for us to come back to the States, because my stepdad was in the Air Force. So when it was time for us to
Uh,
come back to the States, my agent had told me, he said, well, Ola, you're going to have a hard time in the United States if you want to get back into modeling or doing commercials. He said, because in order to be a model, you have to be a certain height. And I'm only 5'4". And he said, but I would suggest that you go to Playboy. And so once I got back
wow.
to the United States, I went to college for a little bit, and then I got kind of bored and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a move. And I took my pictures into Playboy, and after 2 weeks they called me and signed me, and my experience being at the Playboy mansion was it was so much fun. For me, it was like, I this was it became my family. So I was able to go up there anytime I wanted to sunbathe or get into the jacuzzi, or,
They wanted you to
they
be
would
around.
have like every Friday, they would have movie night, and, where a lot of entertainers and producers and directors would show up there. And then afterwards they helped me, with my modeling and getting the agent to help me get into films. So I had the time of my life uh,
Wow. So
being a
the
playmate.
Playboy magazine infrastructure really did work for the models. And it was as simple as you going in with pictures and saying, "Here, I'm available. Here I am."
Well, that's how I did it. I tend to when I want something just kind of, go straight to the source. But yeah, I walked into the building. It was on Sunset Boulevard, and I handed them my picture. And I kind of knew, that they would probably take me because they, like you said, they hadn't had a black girl in a long time. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine though. Okay, let's just say it's not like there's a shortage of people for who want to be in Playboy magazine. So let's not gloss over the fact that they saw you and they saw something special.
oh, thank you.
And when that happened, let's see, you had done some, so afterwards you had done some films. What's the chronology? You were in a couple of movies, right? Before the Thriller video. So you were
Yeah,
no stranger to the film camera.
right. And I
Um,
had I had done a lot of commercials as well for milk and, legs, and so and then I was the spokesperson for a Classy Curl. That was when the Jerry Curl first came out, remember?
uh-huh.
So I
I
was the
know you
face
wouldn't
of
think so, but like I said, I grew up in a place where even I had one when I
so I was the face of that, and I had, you know, traveled all over the world, um, being their spokesperson. And so I believe that, when I got called for the job uh, to work with Michael, I believe Mr. Landis had saw my issue. And because, during that meeting, I had said something to him about it. And he said not to worry about it. He said, I'll talk to Michael about it. So
you
I'm
mean
sure that
about the
that,
fact that
that
you
might
had
have
been a
played.
playmate.
I'm sorry.
The fact that you had been a playmate and
Yeah.
Michael is of course from a religious family.
Exactly. He was
You thought,
Jehovah Witness. And that
yeah,
was one of my concerns. I had asked John, I'm like, but I don't know if Michael would want me to do this because he's Jehovah Witness. And he told me, don't worry about it. He said, I'll talk to him about it. And we'll give you a call in 2 weeks. And so,
yeah. Okay, so he smoothed it over. It never became an issue. I'm sure
right.
Michael saw the pictures and was like, "Okay, this is perfect." Um, so then, what was the shooting process like? How long did it take to shoot your part in that video?
Okay. So we shot for like 2 weeks.
Hmm.
We were on the set like every morning from 7 to midnight.
Wow.
And we had so much fun. I spent every day with Michael, every hour with him, and every day we would have lunch together. And I mean, we had so much fun. Just running around laughing and joking. Michael was so full of life back then, and so yeah, it was a really great experience.
We were all very convinced of your chemistry, that's for sure. So it was real.
Yeah.
You did have a connection with him, and you spent that's a considerable amount of time, long, long days for 2 weeks in a row. What some people wouldn't realize, this is just for our viewers, is that when you're on the set of a movie, which Thriller, it was a music video, but it was a movie directed by a movie director. And so you were, in this movie with all the special effects and stuff. It is an all-encompassing process. And so your entire life for that, even it seems like a short period of time, but your entire life from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you're involved in the production and thinking about the next day and thinking about the day after that. And so when you're the co-star and the two of you had to spend not just that amount of time, but it's a concentrated thing. It's unlike any other process, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. I mean, like after Thriller came out, John and Michael produced the making of Thriller,
Mhm.
which showed the fans, how it worked behind the scenes, and
Yeah.
all that entailed with it. And so that was really great for them to see how long Michael had to like sit in the chair and have that makeup applied to him every day, which was very excruciating for him,
Um,
to have to go through, but he loved every minute of it. And for the dancers also, for them to have gone through the makeup process. I mean, it was like I would be with them in the mornings, talking with them, laughing and everything. And then once they go into the makeup and when they came back out, it's like I didn't know who was who.
transformed, yeah.
Yeah, they did. And so yeah, it was a process. Everybody had a part to play.
You
And
were the only person in that whole video that didn't have prosthetics and makeup and, right? You were
yeah,
the
you know
only
what?
non-monster in that whole
Thank
video.
God for that. I didn't have to play that part in Thriller. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I will say too, we didn't want to see that. We didn't
I
want
wouldn't
that
have
for
wanted
you.
to see it.
I'm sure if there was something like that, it would have been fun. And even Michael, when he was in I mean, the werewolf is one thing, but when he was the zombie at the end, he was still handsome Michael, just handsome Michael as a zombie.
Yeah, he really didn't like having to put the eyes in, like towards the end of the
Uh,
video, that last scene,
yeah,
because his eyes were watering the whole time. And it was so painful for him, but he didn't mind. He wanted to make sure to get the shot that him and John had envisioned for the role.
yeah.
So it was really great. I mean, there was a time when John Landis had called us into editing, and
Mhm.
to give us like a sneak preview of what he was going to do with it. And John showed us the scene where we were running around. Uh, I was running around, and Michael was chasing me, and I was screaming. And so Michael and so John left that scream in the video, and Michael was like, "Are you going to leave it in the whole time? It's kind of loud." And John was like, "Yeah, we're gonna leave it in, Michael. That's the best part."
It's a
So it
scream.
was it was really a great experience having to be a part of it, and then also to watch how it, unfolded, and just the fact that to be able to spend that time with Michael, and you know, it was a really great time.
Yeah, I want to talk about that, but real quick, had you been in any other music videos?
Uh yes, as a matter of fact, I was in a music video before Thriller.
Okay.
um, Quincy had contacted me and had me be in the George Benson video, "Give Me the Night."
Oh, no kidding. That
Yeah,
was the
so
one where it was in Santa Monica
that was shot in LA here on Sunset Boulevard
on
when
Sunset
we were
Boulevard.
like, at a restaurant having dinner, and then
Okay.
me driving with him in a convertible down Sunset Boulevard before they had switched the scene to him roller skating on Venice
Roller
Beach.
skating.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that was my first video. And
Wow.
so it was an honor for me to have worked with Quincy twice, because he
Yeah.
was he was on the set every day of Thriller as well.
And for the two of you, it was a reunion.
Oh yeah.
You
I
could
love
say, "Hey,
Quincy.
Q, how you doing?" And everybody's like, "She knows him." That's terrific. I have to go back and watch that video now. I didn't realize that you had done that video.
Yes.
It's a whole different kind of production, though. If you compare, I mean, "Give Me the Night" was a nice video, you're this shots you're describing. And then I remember he was playing guitar on roller skates, which I thought, I already like George Benson. He's a bad guitar player, but he can play guitar and skate too. Um, I thought that was great, but nothing like, it's nothing like, there was nothing
Well,
like Thriller.
yeah, because um the video with George Benson was a video.
Hmm.
Um Thriller was a short film
Yeah.
because of how many minutes, it went. So it was in that's two different categories in a way. But
Yeah.
a lot of people look at it as a video. So that's why I said,
Just
working with
because there's a song involved, that's really the only thing they had in common was they both had a song.
right. And Thriller had a storyline.
Hmm. Yeah, it had a storyline. You went from there, and then you were in a couple of movies. If I remember correctly, you were in Beverly Hills Cop 2. Um,
I was in like I was in you know a ton
a
of
few different
movies. Fear
movies. Yeah.
City with Tom Berenger, Jack Scalia, Williams, what's his name? Um, and also with um, get his name too, Charles Bronson.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have 10 to Midnight, because in that movie I was being chased and from a serial killer who
You have a
cornered
type.
me who cornered me in the shower. And so, I think maybe John might have seen that movie, because, it I had to like become really afraid knowing that he was in there about to kill me. And so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've never asked John, but I would think that if he did see any of my work prior, that maybe he saw that and saw that, maybe I would be good for that role because of, the scariness on my face and how I acted in that film.
Yeah, you could run terrified. We
Yeah, I
should get
played
Ola. She can
I
run
played the
terrified.
I played the victim real well.
Okay. So then in the latest Michael Jackson biopic, though, you um, are depicted in that movie by Antoine Fuqua's daughter, which, that I thought was pretty cool. I have yet to see the movie. How did you like it? Did you see it?
You haven't seen the movie?
No, I've been busy. I'll get there.
Well, I saw the movie. I
Uh-huh.
went to the Chinese theater and
Okay.
I experienced it with my fans. And so
Fantastic.
I mean, it was really great because, sitting in the movie theater with them and seeing that their response, once the Thriller scene came up, was very, very emotional for me because, I know my fans around the world, they love it so much and it's become so iconic. But to sit in a room with them and experience, their feelings and how excited that they get and everything, when they see that was really, it was very heartfelt for me. And
Wow.
but I really enjoyed the film.
Okay.
I thought that Javar did a great job. I
Yeah.
really liked the younger version of Michael. I don't know
Mhm.
his name, but he did an amazing job as well.
That's fantastic. I Asia Fuqua is the
Oh yeah.
actress's name, Antoine Fuqua's daughter, who played you. And she's a beautiful young woman, but I can't help but say I looked at her and I thought, oh yeah, okay, I get it, but she's no Ola Ray.
Well, I'm just, I didn't know that they were going to have me in the movie, but
Yeah,
it was good to see that, they thought about me.
yeah.
Decided to put something in there, for me. So that was kind of cool.
Your memoir is called The Thrill of It All.
Yes.
Let's talk about the creation of this memoir. How, first of all, when did you decide that you needed to get your story out? And have you always been a writer?
No. After I wrote the book about my life story because I really needed to cleanse. There was a lot of things that I had gone through after Thriller, and so for me to release a lot of what I've gone through, I thought I had to write. And as I was writing everything, I just thought to myself, well, maybe I should, write a book and hopefully through my experience be able to help anyone else that might have gone through any of the experiences that I went through, because there were so many different experiences that I went through, like with drug addiction, domestic violence, suicide, being kidnapped and beaten. And so it was like all these things that I had gone through, and I just found myself writing about it, and then deciding, one day I'm gonna release it as a book, and hopefully it'll be there to help others.
And was it uh, as cathartic as you wanted it to be?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
because it's only by the grace of God that I'm still here standing telling my story,
Yeah.
because he got me through everything that I went through. And it was like I prayed myself out of every situation that I found myself in. And so all glory to God, because he got me through everything. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows that you can go through things in life, but you can come out of them as long as you have faith and you believe.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it sounds like the thing about, if I may be so presumptuous as to summarize your life, you've been through some absolutely tremendous life events that we would all envy. You had an experience unlike anybody else. And I want to talk about what happened to you industry wise, financially, since you took part in the Thriller video. And then what, if anything, has changed for you and for other creators who will experience something like what you did.
Okay, so there are certain protections that are in place for an actor or an actress. I've been a SAG member since 1980. And
Mhm.
so for us, there are things called security agreements, which are uh, bought from the production companies or a film company in order to make sure that your contracts are secure, that they're honored, that they are not to be changed. And then there's other things like, agreements made between distribution companies or so forth, so that they would have an understanding as well, as far as what their job is and how it works for them, to contribute to the paying the royalties and the residuals to any actors and actresses. But like I said, I've been a member since 1980. So I don't know how that might apply to any content creators or or
Non-SAG members,
I'm sorry,
non-SAG members too.
right, non-SAG members. So,
Because you
but
can
I
be a
would, I
YouTube
would,
creator, not be a member of SAG or AFTRA, and not have those union protections.
right. So I don't know how it would work for influencers or content creators, other than the fact that if I had to make a suggestion, I would just say to make sure and have your work trademarked or copywritten. And to also, it's always good to have a good attorney by your side, someone who's going to be there to have your back.
Yeah. Well, you brought up that in the interim, though, you didn't get paid for a long, long time,
Right.
and and then you had to bring suit so you could
Yes.
be justly compensated. Have you since been justly compensated? Have
If you're asking me if I've been justly compensated,
yeah.
without getting too far in it, no, absolutely not.
Wow.
It was always something, for and I didn't understand why, because like I said, I am a SAG member. So,
Hmm.
but there were so many things being changed and moved around, and for me having to go to court to plead my own case about it, um, it was just, I don't know. I don't know how
Yeah.
come the rules didn't apply to me, but
And it was years and years of a moving target that you had to sue
and
for.
yeah, and it still is.
Wow. Well, how about your book? Like you said, you experienced some catharsis in getting this all out. And now
Yeah,
that you
so
are in the space of an author, how has that journey been for you?
no, I mean, like I said, it was only through the grace of God that I got through everything, and I think that he was basically preparing me, for what he is calling for me to do,
Hmm.
which is to give hope, spread the word, let people know that, hey, if I could have gone through all the things that I went through and I got through it, with through the grace of God, that they can get through it as well. So it was really important for me to, like I said, write about my circumstances just so I can get it out, right? I needed to get it out of me because it was very painful what I went through. But
Yeah.
and then in the process of doing all that, I realized, that maybe this is what God wants me to do. He wants me to talk about it, and so I can help others get through it, and to let them know that they can get through it.
Yeah. Did you start off with the mission of writing for that purpose, or did that purpose show up?
It kind of showed up. I was
Hmm.
writing basically to cleanse me,
Ah.
to
Hmm.
talk about it, to get it out of my head. And that was, the only way for me to get through it was I felt like to write it down, to get it out. And then during the process of doing all that, then it came to me, because I just felt like the Holy Spirit was telling me, yeah, you need to write this, you need to get it out, and you need to share it. You need to share this story. You got to let everybody know that, you've gone through all these things. And I had more faith than a mustard seed. It was like every time I got into a situation, I relied on God. I come from a very faith based family. And so we don't have it in our vocabulary about giving up. You know, it's all about how we will go through a situation, we will survive the situation, we will rely on God to get us through it. And that has been, what, I've had to rely on. And
Yeah.
so,
And
yeah,
he
I
wouldn't
have,
put it
I have
upon
a
you
great,
if you didn't have what it took.
I think God knew uh, that, giving me this part of being in Thriller because he knew that I would never give up. He
Yeah.
knew that whatever challenge I might face, that I would pray and I would, rely on him to get me through it. So yeah, I think, it's kind of like a joke in a way, me doing this Thriller video with all these scary people running around and whatnot, right? And then, me having to go through my life as a thriller, and then, but to come out of it through the grace of God and able now to help people get through situations that, that they might find themselves in. It's kind of ironic in a way.
Fantastic. It's fantastic. With with the writing process, was there anything that you had, that was particularly difficult that you revisited as you wrote?
You know what? Every part of it. It took me 5 years actually to write the book because yeah, I everything that this is like after Thriller, because my life before that was, great. This was me, becoming who I was, working
Mhm.
in Japan, which I had a great experience. And where I learned honor and integrity, you know what I'm saying? So being over there taught me a lot. And then having to come here to the United States, they play by a whole different set of rules. So after Thriller, I was like, being had I had to deal with the Me Too movement, directors and producers telling me I can't work unless I sleep with them. And it was just a lot. So yeah, me having to write about everything, me being kidnapped and left in a basement for months, having to relive everything and to write it over and over and over, like I said, it took me 5 years, was very, very painful. There were a lot of tears shared, but I think it was like very cathartic because I was releasing it. I was releasing the pain, and the Holy Spirit helped me, like I said, get through everything. I mean, it was like at one point when I was writing about Michael, a dove flew on my balcony, and so I just knew, his spirit was with me the whole time I was writing it, and then I
Wow.
would be listening to the music and one of his songs would come on, the radio. So uh yeah, it was very spiritual experience and very cathartic and I'm just glad that I was able to get through it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the book is called The Thrill of It All. Our guest today has been Ola Ray. I will say this. I approached this interview because this is we're just now making each other's acquaintance here. But
Yes.
like I said, I've been a fan of yours for, excuse me, very, very long time.
Mhm.
And really, when I saw that you were on the schedule, I thought I was really excited because I thought we would, have a nice conversation. What
And
I
we did.
didn't, yes, what I didn't
Thank you.
realize,
Thank you for asking the questions that you asked. A lot of interviews I do, they don't want to go deep with me. They want to just only talk about, Thriller and Michael, which is okay.
sure.
But I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
get a
that's
chance to really go deep with someone about what it was really like and everything. So thank you. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak on other matters.
I'm what I didn't expect to find was that you would be on this greater mission, to, like you said, spread the word, have people connect with their faith and understand that you will get through this,
Right.
if you hold on to your faith. I
Yeah.
did not expect that you would tell these harrowing stories and have the joy of getting them out and having people experience the world through your hardships and triumphs.
Yeah, because I'm to this day, I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful to God that He got me through everything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still standing here because I could have easily have ended up like Michael or Whitney or Prince
Man,
because
yeah,
the path I was going down and everything I was subjected to,
all
could have
that same stuff.
easily have landed me in the ground. So I'm just so grateful and thankful to my God for getting me through it. And so yeah, it's definitely worthy of me talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to see you joyful. I'm happy to see you, uh,
Thank you.
beaming and beautiful. You've always been beautiful, but
Oh,
let's face it, as we get, older, some people, the road and the miles wear on people differently, and you just continue to glow and shine.
oh, thank you so much. Ain't nothing but God.
All right. Well, I also want to extend that if you, yeah, I'm in the Bay Area and I don't know how much you get around or if you're doing book tours, book signings, whatever. If there's anything that brings you into my part of the world and I can do anything to help, the answer will always be yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank
Terrific.
you very much for that. Also, I want to let everybody know that I have a website called olaray.com. So, and if you want to get a book, you can go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble. And there's so many things going on, in my life right now. So you got to go to my website or, and I'll be posting along the way, letting you know when I'll be coming to your country next. Because God got me moving around right now.
Moving around.
Yeah.
Good. Well, how about your book and the mission and all of the things that you've got going on? If we go to olaray.com, we can get updates. You post stuff on there. You kind of we can keep track of what you're doing and what you're about.
Yes.
How about an audio book? Is there not an audio version of your book yet?
No, not yet.
Will there
Hopefully,
be?
maybe in the future. And a
Yeah.
film too.
Well, oh yeah, a film would be great, but an audio book you can do. So we would love that because your voice is still wonderful as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Terrific. Well, everybody check out olaray.com. There it is right on the screen. olaray.com to keep up on Ola Ray. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.